Here I am. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to yes, exactly that. Um, there is a few things to get to this week, so let's get going. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 12 of the GBA podcast. This is the place where gritty, blissful ambiguity meets guilty by association. Yes, and I go by the name of Ness, and I am your host. Please make sure to subscribe, follow, and do all the good stuff, all the social media stuff. And let's dive right into our very, very first um topic. And that is Diddy giving back publishing to his artists. So a lot of people obviously were excited about it because, when you follow the entertainment industry, there is nothing bigger for an artist than having their masters, their publishing, and basically their intellectual property if they participated in writing, creating it, which they did obviously just even by performing it. But more so if they wrote on the records and all of that. Why? So, um, a lot of people were really excited about it, but then we heard from some of Diddy's former artists, and they kind of like cleared it up and said what it was all about. And we just want to say, not everybody got the same contract. Aubrey all day. She is that white girl from, I think this was actually, what is it called again? Identity Kane. They were part of making the band when Diddy had this thing with MTV going on, and they auditioned. People auditioned. They were making a band, how the name says, and think some bands came together. There was I forgot what the other band was called with the guys, and I believe there were two singers. Not even I don't know, but Identity Kane was one of the making the band's contestants. If you guys remember, maybe Don Richard, she had her own music out. What was the song that I liked? Oh my gosh. Oh man. I don't remember it, but it's oh my gosh, I still love the song up to this day. I think was it Bumps Away? Something like that. Bumps or something. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, definitely go check it out. She's actually that song is amazing. But anywho, so Aubrey is very outspoken. She did the rounds and a few interviews. And I think she was pretty much always very outspoken. I mean, she's an not that it means anything, but still she does OnlyFans now. You gotta be very open and outspoken if you do OnlyFans, I suppose, in a particular way or another. However, um, she basically said publishing, because like Diddy Kane had two platinum albums, and um the money that they generated was 48 million. So now from the 48 million, obviously the record label gotta eat, producers gotta eat, writers gotta eat, artists gotta eat, and you have to pay everything, promotion, marketing for the albums, videos, clothes, and there is so much that goes out of the 48 million. And how it is for most artists, like in the beginning, you don't say much because you're just like happy to be in that situation. You have to deal, a lot of things are happening. Everything is happening pretty fast. People tell you stuff, and you kind of like, because you're young, you're new to this, you believe it, you believe everything. You trust people in the beginning. You say, okay, whatever that is that they tell me, maybe I don't fully get it, but they must have my best interests at heart, which is most of the time not the case. So once you some time goes by and you realize you still haven't made any money, but supposedly you're very successful, and you start to do the maths, and you figure out, okay, hold on, like I've been in the situation for how many years now, and how much money did I make, and what did I get out of it so far. And this is a very hard situation because most of the artists in the 90s, especially in R&B, hip hop, they were unfortunately victim of it, and some of it is still ongoing. Although obviously now we have way more knowledge. It's just like out there. You can research a lot. People are very vocal about these situations, and I heard a few of Diddy's former artists speak up and say, "Hey, you know what? What am I supposed to do with this publishing? It's not even worth a lot." Like Aubrey was, for example, saying it's just a few $100s, because at the end of the day, when it's just really weird, right? Because a lot of these albums back then were CDs, were hard. It was more hardware, and then this whole transition from um buying CDs, going to a shop, buying a physical product, to now it being digital, and then it went to streaming, and you know downloading, and all of that. That definitely, is still very new. It's still a baby. It's not that old. So a lot of things are still not, streamable. A lot of old music, and that's why a lot of people, a lot of artists who don't own their own masters or publishing or whatever, um, they kind of like re-record their first albums just to be able to stream them, or for people to stream them, so they could maybe also be heard by the newer generations, and also maybe make some money. Because streaming, I mean, it doesn't really, you have to stream a song many, 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 many times until you can really make some money. And this is the thing: is it really worth it to sign, to take your publishing back and sign this crazy NDA that Aubrey was talking about, where she's not allowed to speak on her experience with Danity Kane, whatever happened at that time, whatever happened after, any wrongdoings, anybody who done anything wrong by her or by them, she's not allowed to speak to it. So basically, she's getting back her publishing, and in return, we want your silence. And I get that. I totally get that. Everything has a price, even your own music, your own intellectual property, I guess. And then we have that situation where Scooter Braun, everybody is kind of like peed off with him, and left him as a manager. Like there's a very, very fine line between business and between, as an artist, expecting um the right thing done by your manager, your producer, your record boss, or whoever, record label boss. But it's just like, did Scooter Braun do really something so wrong? I mean, Tala didn't come up with the money to buy her catalog back. Maybe she didn't feel like it. Maybe she was never offered it. He did, and he could. He came up with the money. He bought it for a lot of money. Everybody be selling their catalogs off late. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe not. I have no idea, but I definitely do know, as an artist, you definitely feel entitled to own your own stuff, and you would want it back because you want the right thing to be done. Um, by you, so this is the thing. And when we're speaking of streaming and everything, like Universal and Deezer, I thought actually Deezer was shutting down. I'm surprised they were still around. I swear I saw something like last year or whatever that was, like Deezer is shutting down. But anyhow, so Deezer and Universal Music, they kind of like came up with this great idea of a payment structure, to pay artists, for their streamings and whatnot. And they call it artist centric payment structure or payment plan, which means, so how streaming money works is, So basically, you see all the people, they pay their subscription to Spotify, Tidal, Apple, whatever it may be. And then that money gets divided amongst the best performing songs on that streaming platform. And this is obviously bad news for indie artists, because indie artists are obviously not streamed as much as mainstream or A-list artists. So the thing is then um they want to take it there where this money is being divided only amongst those what they call professional artists, which are artists that might be signed to a big record label, I suppose. And that means the indie artists be getting nothing, because if everybody is paying, I don't know, like a $5, $10, whatever it may be, subscription, how much money are you paying that in the indie artist that gets only streamed I don't know how many times, versus the more popular artists, more mainstream artists that gets obviously thousands or maybe hundred thousands of streams. And you know what? And even that, there is also, I believe there's also a particular amount that you have to reach, like let's say maybe 500 or 1,000 streams, and then you get paid. This is something I heard. I'm not too sure about this. I think this is absolutely insane. Instead of like, making something that works for everybody, also for indie artists, obviously these people don't care too much about it. I understand that, again, this is a new thing, it's still a baby, but it's still, it's about time they figure out something, because the way that music is going, the music industry is going, I can't say I'm glad I'm out of it. That's all I'm gonna say to that. Another crazy story that caught my attention this week was that New York daycare. So New York does not only have giant rats as a problem, and they banned short time use of Airbnb accommodations. I mean, this is really crazy, and that, I don't know. In my head, I always say that since I am a teenager, in my head, I live in New York. But these things I don't like. I don't like rats, and I don't understand this whole thing with the Airbnb. But this is a story that I understand even way less. So there is this daycare in the Bronx, in New York, and there is this 1-year-old boy that lost his life. He was 1 year old, and he started going to that daycare just last week. And he was exposed to fentanyl. And as we all know, fentanyl is one of the biggest poisons out there, being mixed with drugs and being sold to people. I guess it's cheaper, but it's very deadly and very dangerous. So this 1-year-old boy unfortunately lost his life to this inhaling this fentanyl. Absolutely insane. 3 other kids were hospitalized because they were also exposed to it. And once the police did their, searching and stripping the place and everything, they found 1 kilogram of fentanyl, which could kill up to 500,000 people. Can you believe this? This is absolutely insane. They also found some other stuff there that leads them to believe that this was a whole drug operation that is taking place in this daycare. I mean, it's a great alibi. We saw that on Power. Everybody who watched Power knows what I'm talking about. When Tasha started her daycare, was it? I think it was a Power book too. Actually, I'm not too sure anymore. I haven't watched. I've never actually finished Power Book 2, and I never got into the rest of the other Power. Like, I still have Kaden to watch, Tommy's season, and all of them I have to still watch, because I do love Mary as Monet, and I love Method Man in his role as well. I forgot what his name was. So that daycare just opened in January, and they passed all the, things that you have to pass in order to make sure that everything is legit. The owners are obviously facing charges right now, manslaughter and even murder, because that that 1-year-old boy unfortunately lost his life. Parents are devastated. Daycare is a place, as it should be a safe space. It should be a place where you as an adult should be able to feel comfortable leaving your kid while you go to work or whatever that is that you do, and the fact to know that this is not possible anymore because I don't know, people like to multitask or utilize the daycare for more than just like looking after kids and making sure that kids are safe and okay. I mean, they hid the fentanyl under the net mats. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. When you know there's little kids, they are very curious. They play around. They have to touch everything. They pull everything out. It's crazy how you don't. I don't know. It really baffles me, and I'm lost for words at this point because you can expect a lot, and you know that people can do a lot. People are really capable of doing so much craziness, and I get that totally. But when it comes to kids, there should be some type of threshold where people say, okay, you know what, this is the boundary. Like, I'm not gonna cross this boundary because that's crazy. And to put this near kids where kids play and sleep and eat, and especially when you have like little babies, a 1-year-old, like what do little kids do? They find something and they go straight to their mouth. How did they think this is okay? I mean, I don't know how long they've been doing this, if this is like the first time, if they just started doing this, or if they've been doing this and this is the one time where then everything went left. I have no idea, but I just think this is absolutely nasty, and yeah, they should face all of these charges. And then I came across this, and I thought I was kind of like in two minds about it, how I always am, but I guess this is just my insecurity, because my first initial reaction was like, oh, wow, that's super cool. So there is this police officer, a female police officer called Ayash. And Ayash is from, I don't know where she's originally from. I didn't find that out. But she resides in Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. And she's the first female police officer wearing the hijab at work. The hijab is, for those who still don't know, after there was so much talk about it in the press, is what Muslim women wear to cover up their hair. Okay, so they cover up the hair, they cover up their neck, all of this here, all of that part, the chest part, cleavage, all covered, all, that's what the hijab is. So she's basically working in her hijab. She didn't want to lose the hijab to do the job as a police officer. So she fought for the right to be able to wear it at work. She also kind of like fought to make her clothing, like her dress style at work, a little more modest. She wanted to wear long sleeves under her polo shirt or shirt, whatever that is, that she has to wear to work. She wanted long sleeves. She got the long sleeves. And obviously there is a lot of voices that became real loud. Oh, the same right. And, like all of these racist, discriminatory comments. She received all of them. She still stood strong and fought for her hijab and for her customized uniform. And I think that's very amazing. She had a lot of colleagues backing her in front of the camera, at least. And this was when my second thought came in, like, is this all for TV to show Oh, yeah, there's a lot of racism, but we're so inclusive. On the one hand, that's amazing because we want to see inclusion done the right way, and not the version of inclusion that they're, kind of like trying to feed us. But either way, I just think she did amazing. I think it's very brave of her to be like, okay, you know what, I want to go into this uh profession where there is a lot of racism, and due to that, there is a lot of, not knowing, and that could go very, very wrong sometimes, as we see with police brutality and everything. So for her to still follow through and, get what you want, I think this could be something great. And if she manages to be the first one but not the last one, I think that's amazing. Hopefully, she inspired some other people to be strong and brave like her, to stand up for whatever that is that they believe in, or whoever they are. It's not about what you believe in, because at the end of the day, that has nothing to do with her doing her job right. But she wanted to do her job dressed in the way that she feels the most comfortable. So this is the thing. And oh, we got to do it. We gotta do it. I thought I could escape. I thought I didn't have to talk about it, but we gotta do it. I gotta obviously speak on Russell Brand and these allegations that were raised. Um, the Sunday Man, I think it was, and Channel 4, they did this huge documentary for women. Um, for women claiming that he assaulted them, essayed them, and raped them, even groomed them. Like, there's a minor, she used to be a minor, she was 16 when she was dealing with him, and he was apparently, he had her picked up in BBC cars, and I guess when he was still working with the BBC, and now they came out with the documentary, and obviously he is denying all of these claims against him. He said that he's very transparent about his lifestyle, when he was addicted to sex, when he was addicted to drugs, when he was living this crazy lifestyle. I heard from so many people who knew him from back when that they didn't really like him. A lot of people said, oh, they liked the new him because he changed. He wrote thousands of books. He kind of like walked away from Hollywood. He's not in the movies anymore. He's not doing all the comedy, all the perks that his career had for him. He doesn't have them anymore from a long time because he chose to walk away. That was his choice, how he says. He was deemed a conspiracy theorist for some time now because he does speak against the government and against a lot of systemic things and a lot of things that are going on. He's been very active in that community, and to the point where YouTube now canceled his monetization for his channel. He's not allowed to make any money on YouTube anymore. Allegedly, he was making between 2,000 and 4,000 per video. He's still on Rumble. Rumble is the other platform where people go in when YouTube doesn't want them anymore. Apparently, there is more freedom to say whatever that is that you want. And he was hosting a daily show on Rumble, if I'm not mistaken. Huge following he has on there. So he still got that. But everything else, basically, the BBC and other, like Netflix and other institutions, they took a lot of his content down. What I find very interesting, because obviously this is not the first time we have so many people that are where people came and women came, they raised all these this essay claims and great claims, and so many of them. And just recently I was talking about even some BBC presenters like Philip Schofield and Hughes Edwards. And it's just interesting how some people get away with these things and some people get like all of these claims raised. I'm not, and this is all, I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. I have no, how do I say? I don't watch Russell Brand. I'm not a fan or anything, but when did this actually become a thing where anybody can say just something? We do a documentary, we just, find a few people, a few women in this case, and just like let them tell a story, whether the story is true or not, which should be something that is actually dealt with, by the court system that we have in place. But I don't know, like these days, people get punished before even anything was, official and like legally, said. We just have this case where Kevin Spacey walked out of court. All of the claims against him, him essaying for men back in the early 2000s were dropped. So, I mean, the man, he was kind of like already finished. He was supposed to pay the people, the producers from House of Cards, $25 million. It's crazy how these things happen, and we're just here like judging people, sitting and believing everything that's been told to us, and this could be really dangerous. I'm very, very, very much triggered by these kind of things. There is women who have things really happen to them, like essay and rape and all of that stuff, and they cannot come forward for many different reasons because they're scared or they don't have the ability to, for whatever reasons. And I find this extremely crazy to use these kind of things when there are really people who go through this, to hold it against somebody, just because you wanna, I don't know, you don't want them to have a peaceful life, whatever the reason may be. But I just feel like if he did it, then he deserves everything that a predator deserves. But if he didn't do it, what then? And this is the thing. Like, I feel people need to be just that little bit more careful. I'm not saying he did it. I'm not saying he didn't do it. What I'm saying is, can we get a verdict? Can we get something? I mean, it's crazy, like everybody has an opinion, but nobody has actual facts. And I get it, everybody wants to speak up. People who met them just once in their lifetime want to speak up. Everybody has something to say, but I don't know if it's always good, that everybody can just say whatever, and add whatever to the mix, and as they always say, every story has three sides. There is the people's side, each person, and there is the truth. So let's wait and see what will happen in this case. I'm just amazed how certain people can get away with it and others don't. Like, so what's going to happen with Philip Schofield? What's going to happen with Hugh Edwards? I mean, yeah, okay, he claimed, no, it was his ex who did all of this because that was kind of like a smear campaign. But I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Anyhow, so I've got a random fact for this week. This is really, that's really weird. So I don't know if anybody of y'all heard about poulet donkey cheese. That poulet donkey cheese is the most expensive cheese in the world. And what do I say? So it's if you wanna buy poulet, I'll say it right, poulet donkey cheese, 1 pound costs $600, y'all. And you need 6.5 gallons of donkey milk to even make it. Okay, to make 1 kilogram of this. And the poulet cheese, the poulet donkey cheese, is made of 60% of donkey milk and 40% of goat milk. And all of this is only happening in a particular area in the whole world, and that is somewhere in a resort in Serbia. And this is not so easy because donkeys only make milk when they've had a baby, and they carry their baby for 1 year and 2 weeks. Yeah, can y'all imagine? Like 9 months and pregnant, and people already like lose it. Imagine you gotta be pregnant for 1 year and 2 weeks. Cray. But I don't know. So it's 12 months and 2 weeks. It makes, that's a very long time. So, and then obviously they have to feed their babies with the milk, and once they had the baby, the farmers have to wait for 3 months until they can start collecting milk. So if you're a cheese lover, go find some other cheese and try it and let me know if it was nice. I do love me some cheese, but I don't know if I have to try donkey cheese. Yeah, not sure. But that's just me. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're tuning in from. Remember, you can find us on all streaming platforms and, of course, on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share. Tell your friend, tell your sister, your brother, your cousin, your colleagues, your coworker, your neighbor. Tell anybody. And I'll be back next week with a brand new episode.